What's going on, Grizz Nation? Welcome into another game day update for the second time this season out of 4. Like, we're going to see Paris Lawson a lot. Paris, thank you for coming back on.
Thank you for having me. This is always so much fun.
I'm
Great.
sorry that the weather didn't cooperate with you on your trip to Memphis this time.
It's okay. We just got back from Atlanta where it was also very rainy and drizzly. So I just this road trip so far has just been a little cloudy and a little rainy, and we're going to roll with it.
All right. Well, speaking of the road trip, the OKC Thunder on a 3-game win streak. The Grizzlies also have won their last 3 games. So this is going to be either someone getting that 4th win or somebody not. But I'm going to start just real quickly before we dive into the teams with an injury update on our end. That is a big deal. So the last game we had 7 inactive players. Tonight we're going to have the same regular guys, Danny and Dez. Oh my goodness. I was about to say the third one. He's not there anymore. Danny and Dez still out. Zaire is questionable for the very first time this season. So tonight could be a season debut for him, which is kind of a cool thing to start with. But let's get into the actual game. Shai is the headliner for OKC. He scored 30 or more points in the last 7 games. Dylan on our end, the other Canadian, I had said this last game that he loves defending Canadians, and he held Shai last game to just 15 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. What do you expect out of this fun little northern matchup for tonight?
It should be a really fun matchup. And I think I said that the last game too, but it's so
it is.
It's so true. Like when these two teams get together, it's always a pretty good game for a lot of different reasons. One, in the last game, Shai was kind of held from the free throw line, which led to his lowest scoring numbers that we've seen all season. But we also saw some really balanced scoring by the Thunder. So a lot of guys getting in double figures. Everybody that stepped onto the floor scored. And that's been the theme of this team all season long, is yes, Shai is going to get his numbers. Shai is going to get a bucket, but the whole team as a group, they're so balanced, and it could be anybody at any point. In the last game, it was rookie Ousmane Dieng coming in off the bench, 15 points, having himself a night, and it could be anybody at any given point. And that's the identity that the Thunder plays with really every single night. They move the ball, they play fast, they move a lot offensively. And so it could really be anybody, and I could expect to see a lot of balanced scoring in that regard.
And the fact that it could be anybody scoring has to go along with it. It could be any, you guys have seen so many different lineups throughout this season, not only because of injury, just because of the mixing and matching. What does that say about the chemistry that this team is building? You've a 3-game win streak in the middle of the season right now. We're over a quarter in. It's impressive.
It's kind of set the precedent that everybody on the team has to stay ready, because you could be in the starting lineup in this game, you could be coming off the bench, you could be not playing in this game, but then have substantial meaningful minutes in the very next game. So this is the youngest team in the NBA, but that led to a lot of poise that we've seen from this group, a lot of composure in crunch time situations and really emotional games. There's just a lot of calm and composure and poise from this group. And it also it creates so much. It's really interesting, because I think of an opposing team trying to scout the Thunder, and you don't know who could be in the rotation or the lineup. And it kind of creates this interesting advantage for OKC, because Isaiah Joe could be the guy that steps in off the bench and, has a pretty big night. And so you just never know. And it's been pretty interesting to see how that plays out throughout the season.
The last time that you were here was just earlier this year. The Grizzlies won that one 121-110. It was Josh Giddey who had 20 points. He's sneaky dangerous as well. Talk to me about the way that he scores, because he is someone that I remember that game. I remember looking up and being man, Shai's been quiet. Quiet game from everyone. I look up, Josh Giddey has 20 points. I'm hold on, what?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Anybody could kind of get going for the Thunder, and Josh, he's the guy that gets the blender going for the Thunder. Shai, he's going to get downhill. He's going to create and start those advantages for the Thunder. And Josh gets the rebound, pushes it up the floor, gets the offense going. And he's kind of that gets things going quickly. The Thunder wants to play fast, and Josh is the guy that gets things going quickly. And so he's able to score because he gets the rebound and he goes and if he has an open floor and open space ahead of him at 6'8", and as a guard, he's got some advantages in size to his advantage. So he's learned how to take advantage of that. And also just whenever he can play off the catch after getting that ball moving offensively, he can be a pretty big threat offensively. So we've seen him get going. Obviously he did in the Thunder's last game against Memphis. But his strength is when he's able to just be that facilitator. He's so dangerous when he has the ball, especially when it's on a side out of bounds play or underneath the basket. Just he's so dangerous when he can pass the ball.
Is he still the youngest player in NBA history to get a triple-double? Did I make that up?
No, that's correct. That's
okay.
accurate.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Go Josh Giddey. Lastly, I'm going to talk to you about our franchise player, and that is Ja Morant. He was sitting last game along with John Conchar. Before last game, Coach Jenkins said that we can't expect both of these guys to be back and most likely in the starting lineup. Most likely, Ja doesn't start. Yeah, they'll be back in the starting lineup today, both of those guys. Let's talk about what I expect most likely to be Ja Morant playing against a defender who I think is one of the best defenders, the grittiest guy, and that's Dort. Like that, like Ja's going to score. It's not going to be like you're going to stop him, but containing him, Dort is going to do one of the best jobs, I think, in the league. Yeah,
Lou is just this stalwart defender that you have to have on the floor because of his defensive ability.
Yeah.
And this is another reason why I think this is such a fun matchup, because you have this super explosive player in Ja who is so quick, who can get downhill, get to the rim, knows how to use those ball screens really well. And a guy like Dort, who is one of the lead
fight every one of those screens.
Exactly, fighting over every one of those screens. And I mean, those are no small screens. I mean, Steven Adams is not a small guy to set a screen, right? And so fighting over those screens, and Lou has this really sneaky good ability to draw fouls on those screens as well. He's one of the best in the league at drawing offensive fouls just from trying to fight over screens and staying legal. And so that should be pretty interesting to see how that plays out between, Ja going off those ball screens, Lou having to fight through those ball screens. That should be pretty fun to watch too.
I agree. For what it's worth, everybody at home, Paris had mentioned that it was a really even kind of spread out scoring night last time we played this team. For us, it was as well. Ja had 19, Conchar had 19, Santi had 15, Dylan had 16, Tyus had 13. Like this, I think OKC and Memphis is one of the most like even. I know the score didn't necessarily like reflect that last time, but such an even matchup in terms of like depth, who they have, the scoring, like Shea and Ja kind of cancel each other out. The bigs also cancel each other. It's going to be just like fun. I'm excited that we get 4 games with you this year.
It should be really cool. And to your point, it's interesting because like Memphis has a lot of size, right? You've got guys like Jaren coming and Steven and just a lot of size and girth kind of at the forward position. Meanwhile, the Thunder, the size is in the length, right? But just long arms, long legs, not necessarily like your standard 5-man who's like under the rim bruising guys, but
you won the points in the paint battle last time we played.
Exactly.
You 210 points.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how that works with how the Thunder just uses ball movement and getting downhill, playing fast. That's a big key to those points in the paint. But just the dynamics of these two teams is so interesting.
Paris, I can't wait to see you tonight at the arena for real this time. So thank you.
Yes, for real this time.
Thank you again for your time. Tennessee's very own. We appreciate you so much.
Thanks so much for having me. Can't wait to see you.
Yes, Grizzlies fan is regular time tonight. Nothing special to announce there. 7 p.m. tip off. If you're coming to the arena, make sure you get there nice and early. Stay safe, stay dry. And if you're watching at home, you can catch it on Bally Sports Southeast and the Bally Sports Plus app.